So I'm going to do a video that will get no views, and that is my proof to all of you that I am not just in this for the money, the clicks, the views, the immense popularity, the fame, the stardom. I'm not for any of that stuff. I am absolutely 100% in this to help people, and it has become something that generates a little bit of revenue, a little fun money, a little bit of a business, a tax shelter, if you will, to be able to write things off. Otherwise, in my regular daytime job, I could not do that. It's not in any way to get rich. And frankly, I would like to get that damn plaque, that 100,000 subscriber plaque, and that would just be a personal goal, a personal thing. So if you haven't subscribed, please go subscribe. And today's video is something that just got in my craw a little bit. And what is a craw? I don't even know what a craw is, but it got there, and it bothered me enough to think, I need to do this. And I know I've beaten this horse so badly, so I'm not even going to spend time going through all the new people whose Charger Daytonas are bricked and broken and crap and having issues, despite the fact that I will applaud Jordan Rose for his video on them finally fixing the front driver's seat, that once you pull the cord and it goes forward so the rear passengers can get out, it starts to go back only to clamp them in and trap them in what could only be described as a Jaws-like, life-threatening panic-type situation. That has been fixed, so that's good news. But that leaves me with still feeling like I have to get up and say this, because whether you have a Daytona that's bricked, that's crap, that you want to get rid of, that you want to somehow find a way out of, or find a resolution, or finally simply just get the car fixed because you love it so much and enjoy driving it that you would like for it to just simply work, and you're hoping that you can find a way to apply pressure to Stellantis and Dodge to get that thing to work right so you can enjoy it and not just keep paying for a car that you can't drive, then in this case, I want to give you good advice. And sometimes it blows my mind and makes me just think that maybe it's only because I've gone through so much crap in my life. I've had, and I laugh about this, it's not even whining. Like, I've had so much bad shit happen to me over the years. Like, even my mother used to say, like, everybody can cross the street, and, you know, Bradley, if you do, you're going to be hit by a car. And no, she was not a motivational speaker. I've just been through so much. And because of that, I've found the ways to resolve problems. So if you have a problem, a challenge in your life, you want to email me at ocmotivator@gmail.com. It doesn't matter what it is. I probably can help you. Going through a divorce, I haven't done that before, but every single one of my friends has, and I've been in the middle of it. And my last employer, him and his wife did. So it doesn't matter what it is. Somehow I ended up getting dragged in, kicking and screaming to the conflict, only to rise out of it victorious and stronger than ever. And I'm happy to share with you these things. But when I watch in these groups where they don't like me very much because they think I'm bashing these cars, I see the most insane things and advice being given to people who are having problems with their cars. And I wanted to address this one, the horrible advice that I'm going to share with you right now that this guy got. Let's go ahead and put the screen up. So this poor gentleman, another one, and there's another one above this one, another one above that one, another one above that one. So I'm not going to go through those. We've already done that before. But this gentleman writes, I was about to make a positive post the other day about the car's been running so well since the last reflash in August. So this is a bummer, but over the weekend, it failed to start on me again. In addition to the lobster, I also got the brake system failure code this time. Car was towed to the dealer. My lawyer filed a lemon law claim this morning. Check out my older post for details on that. In Maryland, if you have to make 3 visits on the same issue, this is my 4th, or the car is out of service over 30 days within 24 months or 18,000 miles, you can make the claim. We'll keep interested folks updated on how this goes. I've had my RT since April, 6 months or so, and I've got 5,300 miles on it, and there it is. Nice looking car. He's living the nightmare. And then I come down here and I see all kinds of people, everybody's having different experiences. This guy says, your lawyer should have suggested calling the Better Business Bureau Auto Division. Well, maybe they want to make money. because it is 100% free for you and it speeds things up. That is absolute baloney. But I'd be down to do the BBB complaint too. I've also had an open case with Stellantis since June. This guy writes, I filed a complaint with the BBB about my car, which was legally a lemon. The official response from Stellantis was, as this is a direct quote, consumer is free to consult an attorney. They know these cars are crap. They're not doing anything about them. The point I wanted to make here, and I don't know why I know this, but these otherwise intelligent grown adults don't know this. The Better Business Bureau is nothing. Okay? They're nothing. And I don't want to get myself sued by them because they're trying to be something. They're trying so hard to be something that I imagine they won't like my video very much. But you need to know this. They are not a government agency. Let's get that right out of the way right now. They are not a government agency. They are a nonprofit, and let me just get down here, organization focused on promoting trust in the marketplace. But I'm going to get to the punchline here. Some of you might know this already. It's founded in 1912 by a group of advertising executives frustrated with unethical sales practices. I'm going to bet these guys thought, here's a great way to make money. We're going to call something the Better Business Bureau and then make everybody get their businesses accredited and rated on our list, maybe not website, of course, back then, but on our list of accredited businesses and give them a sticker they can put on their store. And then if people complain about them, we will help mediate the problems. And that's brilliant. And if we can't mediate the problems, these people have to pay us to be able to be accredited. And then there's not really a rating system because there was no websites back then. So if it says accredited, even if there were, 2 or 3 mediations that they hosted or they facilitated, they're still accredited, so it would instill trust in businesses. Seems like a great thing, and I've seen this over the years. There was a company, I think, called 5-Star Rated that was trying to do the same thing, and for sure, but you got to ask yourself, how do they make money? Well, how many of you, by a show of hands in the comments section, recognize that most nonprofits have a CEO, have a vice president, have a president, have a CFO, all kinds of C-suite people, as well as management, leadership, and employees that are all getting paid. That's not considered profit. That's called expense, even though the profit is whatever they want to pay themselves, they can get paid. So if we go back here, let's just go and type in and see if we can find out how much does the CEO of the Better Business Bureau make. May not be able to find this out. Oh, here it is. All right, the salary for the CEO of the Better Business Bureau varies with recent data showing a range. For example, one source indicates compensation of approximately $727,348 for a specific president CEO, while another report lists $115,000. President role at the company shows another president CEO salary at $178,000. The differences in the organizations and roles within the broader BBB structure, such as national and local offices. That's a hell of it may not be it's a nonprofit, but they're making a lot of money. Where does that money come from? Well, it's important that you all know this. So they give business ratings and they will do dispute resolution, charity evaluation, scam alerts, business guidance. What I would like to, by the way, there's a lot of criticism out there of the BBB accusations that its funding model leads to preferential treatment to fee-paying businesses, meaning the only way you become an accredited business and the only way that they will help mediate a dispute is if you're an accredited business, meaning you've paid them. And there is widespread belief out there that the BBB protects its paying accredited customers. But here's the deal. Whether it's true or not, and I'm not saying it is, this is all over the internet, that if they're paying the BBB to give them a sticker for their front door of their business and a logo on their website, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are a great, perfect company. Now, the BBB could choose, if somebody gets a lot of complaints, to remove that accreditation, but then they would have to turn away money. You see the problem here? So I would say that's a challenge. Many on Reddit consider this, and in the general public consider the BBB nothing more than a review website at this point. Now, how many of you, by another show of hands in the comment section below, go to the Better Business Bureau before you go shop at any business? Or do you just use Google reviews, which everyone sees automatically when they do a search for a business? Automatically comes up. Business, or let's just say Yelp. Open Table for restaurants, Yelp for restaurants as well. But businesses already, there's tons of review sites. But Google has become pretty much where you see vast majority of these reviews. And you can get a good feel, and you can sort by date, by rating, everything else. I don't know the last time I went to the BBB's website was today when I went there. And I typed in Stellantis, I did a search, and they do not appear to be an accredited business, okay? They don't appear to be paying them, meaning that if you have a dispute with Stellantis, Stellantis is going to tell you to go pound sand and consult with your attorney. They don't recognize the BBB exists. They don't care. There is plenty of complaints about Stellantis, about many businesses out there on the BBB. The bottom, it says they have a poor rating on the BBB website. Did that stop any of you? It says a mention of failure to respond to 31 complaints. I get more on a Facebook group than I do there. So this guy's advice, go to the BBB. They're going to be the solution. You shouldn't have talked to your lawyer. BBB can do nothing. They are not a federal agency. They are not the cops of the universe. When somebody does you dirty, they can call and say, can we help? But if they're not accredited, they say that they won't do that. They also, let's be clear, they take money, they collect money from these businesses to say that they'll help resolve complaints and that they can take away the accreditation if they get too many complaints. All I can tell you is this is not the path to go. So the thought in the old days was if you put BBB accredited business on your website or on your business card or on the front door of your business, that suddenly would get you business. I don't think that's the case anymore. And I'm not bashing the BBB. I'm sure there was a window of time when we used to, I know there was, when I was younger, we'd all talk about go to the BBB, go to the BBB. Then the internet came and people can just search reviews everywhere. So the bottom line is, what do you do if you're this guy? What do you do if you're having problems with your cars? You immediately, without hesitation, consult an attorney. Don't think going to the BBB. You can go to Yelp. You can go everywhere else. Like there was another post I had on here that I was going to show you guys. Bottom line, all it says is, every time this one guy says he worked at a customer service department at a big business, and when people would throw the BBB out there, they would just chuckle and laugh and put them on mute while they're trying to stop laughing. It's not something that's going to get anybody to do anything. If you are having problems with these cars and they are persistent, ongoing, repetitive problems with these cars or any cars, or frankly anything you buy from anybody, consult with an attorney. And let me just make it even more clear. Consult with several attorneys. You shouldn't just take the first attorney. You should meet with several. I gave this advice to a gentleman a few weeks ago over some financial things he's going through. I said, consult with 10 attorneys. Because here's what happens. Some of them will take a case, and it's one of their thousands of cases, and you will fall by the wayside. They won't put the time into it. You want to find somebody who's not over swamped and not just trying to be a mill of cases they're pushing through. But while you don't want to find the guy that has nothing to do working out of his garage, somewhere in the middle, somebody's going to take your case seriously, appreciative of your business, and is going to go vigorously after a settlement or a buyback, a complete unwinding or reversing of your deal and get you set free, or find you the outcome you're looking for. That's what you need to do. Consult with an attorney. That's my advice. And I'm not an attorney, but don't think the BBB is going to help you. You might as well just go to Google and thrash them on Google. That's probably not going to help you either, because there's so many reviews on there. If somebody wants a car, like right now, there's so many reviews just on this group and all over the internet about this car. People are still buying it, and nobody's going to the BBB and saying, well, they didn't respond to 31 people, so you know what? I'm not going to buy that car. Nobody goes there anymore. And I'm sorry, BBB. Make a comeback. Start advertising on TV again. Buy a Super Bowl ad. Do something big, altruistic. Go for it. Otherwise, it's a nonprofit. They'll collect enough money from enough people and they'll be able to sustain a business. But I run a very large business and I've never been approached by anybody saying, you want to put a sticker on your door and be an accredited business? And if they did, I would say, for what reason? I don't know what you could possibly give, because considering the fact that the people who pay you are going to be the accredited ones, why would you fire those people if they were bad? Now I have to just trust that you're going to do the right thing and hurt your own financial wherewithal in your business to do the right thing, or are you just saying, I'm willing to help you mediate disputes and negotiate settlements with these companies? I don't know. But that's the story. And if you've got problems, just consult with a lawyer. Do your best to reach out to the manufacturer, talk to the dealer, give them all a chance to solve the problem. And don't threaten. Never threaten. I'm going to sue. I have a lawyer. By the way, when you do that, a lot of these companies go, well, now that you have a lawyer, we're never going to talk to you again, because now you have representation. We're not going to talk. If you don't really have a lawyer, then you just shut yourself out of conversations. So don't say that. So many people say it all the time. Oh, I have a lawyer. I'm going to have my lawyer. I'm going to get my lawyer to do this to you. My lawyer's going to be your lawyer. And you don't even have a lawyer. You're just saying that stuff. Let me define what it means to have a lawyer. What it means to have a lawyer is that you've paid them money and put them on retainer to start working on a case for you and provide representation to you. If you haven't done that yet, don't tell people you have a lawyer or my lawyer is going to do this to you. I'm going to retain a lawyer is what really wakes a guy like me up. If I'm dealing with a customer and they say, I'm going to consult with a lawyer on Saturday, then I know that the lawyer is going to want to make money and he's probably going to talk them into writing a retainer, and then we're going to be in a lawsuit. So that's a much more reasonable and likely threat than my lawyer's going to come after you and take everything, or class actions. Those are the best ones. Hey, you better fix my car. I'm going to file a class action lawsuit. Most people don't even know what the hell a class action lawsuit is. I got another email the other day from somebody. I'm going to get $42 on my class action lawsuit. That's insane. Like yet it's a $65 million freaking settlement, and then all that is eligible if I was a victim is like $40 or something like that. So when you say class action, we're talking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year long, and unless you're the class rep, you're not going to see any money. And frankly, the manufacturer just goes, oh, no, they're not worth talking to anymore. They're going to do class action. That means you got to find a whole lot of people to play along with that thing. You be the plaintiff, you get an attorney, you file the lawsuit, and you get a great attorney to file that lawsuit, and then let them do what they do best, which is lawyer stuff, and then get you out from underneath that car. So I hope this helps somebody out there. Stop listening to stupid advice. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm bashing this guy. I'm not. It's just naivete. Like, I believe the Better Business Bureau. I'm going to tell the Better Business Bureau. Like, you sound so utterly stupid to say something like that. Nobody cares about. It's a review site at this point that no one goes to. At least in my world, nobody goes to. So sorry, BBB. You had a place in the world. I don't know what that is at this point, but I can tell you that's not going to get your car fixed. Fair enough? So with that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.